Because prayer is such a key piece, I have found most of the people I talk to, they only think of prayer as what I call arrow prayers of, they may just pray about themselves and their situation, and they don't really have a broader perspective of prayer. And so one of the exercises I do to sort of break them out of that is in a small group or coaching session, I won't tell them that the topic is prayer because that will automatically get them to think wrong. And so I'll say I'm doing an icebreaker today just to warm us up for the first 5 minutes. We're going to have one of you do an impromptu speech. Remember that from college or high school where you had to just talk for 5 minutes on some topic, okay? And so I'm going to give you 5 topics and I pass out index cards. And so right now, because you don't know who I'm going to pick in this room, you just have to write as much stuff down as you can about each topic because you might get picked and you can go off your card to be able to talk for 5 minutes. And I'm going to have you come up front and talk for 5 minutes. And so when I give that exercise, they are all thinking, oh gosh, he might pick me. Knowing Von Fan, she's going to pick me. And I'm trying to throw them off balance to not think about prayer at all, but just to think about topics. And so so in the exercise, I'll go, okay, family. So just real quick, put everything you can think about. Put names, put events, put future events, and just start real quick. And so people start, and I'm got to watch, and I'm going tick, 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 tick to try to just get them to brainstorm. And they're starting writing all these things down. I said, anything that will help you talk about it to somebody, put it down there. And so they'll write, Jesse, Josh, Brian, Sharon, Steve, Joe, and they'll start putting names down, and then they'll start putting family reunion coming up in July, and they'll start putting all these things about family and my cousins, my uncles, put all those names down. And then after like 45 seconds or a minute and a half, I'll say, okay, next card, okay, career, anything to do with the workplace, put it down there, And so put who, vendors you work with, people you work with, list the names of people that tick you off, list names of people you really like, and who's your boss, who's your boss's boss, who's your boss's boss's boss. In church they're trying to expand it all out, but you got to do it quick. And so they're over here writing names down and filling all this card out. Because I said, now I'm going to pick somebody to come up here and talk about it for 5 minutes. So you better put as much stuff down there as you can. And then minute and a half later, next card. Okay, now community. Anything that you're doing in the community. Do you go to the library? Are you involved in any organization? And you write those things down. And then I'll do church. Anything to do with church. Put it down. And then personal. That's the 5th one. Anything that you just do for fun, your hobbies, and you like to read, and then when they finish, so it takes about a minute to a minute and a half on each one of these things. So in 10 minutes, they've brainstormed, and I go, okay, what you really have in front of you now is you have prayer cards. These cards now have the things you should be talking to God about in each of these different arenas of your life. And now let's just take an example. Okay, Jesse out of my family. Father, be with Jesse and just help him to grow up to be a man of God. And just start sharing your heart on each of these names or events that you put down. Of how do you feel about that? What do you desire for those? Where do you think what's the desire of your heart related to those? And that just becomes the basis now of a prayer life. And you can keep those cards in your pocket. You can pull them out when you're at a stoplight. You can pull them out when you're in a grocery line. And so if God stops you at a stoplight, if God stops you in a long line, waiting to vote, 3 hours later, you could have prayer cards just to be praying for all sorts of people to use that time for ministry and productive for the kingdom. And it's as simple as just pulling index cards out of your purse or out of your pocket and just start praying for it. And then I keep them in order. So when I finish that card, I put it to the back and I just continue on. And I have one for each day of the week. So I have 7 cards with 7 different topics. And I just each day pray for a different topic and pray for people. And then on some, there's so much there, I have to almost organize it. So for instance, Monday is my work day to pray for all people at work. And the first part is all the people that just are not believers at work. And that's the top tier. The middle tier are people I know are Christians. I've had a spiritual conversation, but they really don't want to go anywhere with it at work. And then the third one is people I know that are Christians. They are active and vibrant in reflecting and glorifying God in everything they do. And how can I encourage them? And so that's another piece. But that's my Monday prayer card. And so that's just an example of a simple exercise to help develop a prayer life, to really bring all these arenas of your life and start tuning into what God's doing there.